Welcome back to another episode of Nightly English Mics. I'm Sarah, and I'm joined by my favorite co-host, Mike. How are you doing today, Mike? You look like you've had a very productive morning.
Oh, hey, Sarah. I am doing great, though productive might be a strong word. I've mostly just been staring at my laptop and drinking way too much coffee. But I'm really excited about today's topic. It's something that everyone has to deal with at some point. And honestly, it's a bit of a nightmare for most people.
Let me guess. Is it doing your taxes or maybe moving to a new apartment?
Those are definitely on the list, but no, today we are diving deep into the world of job interviews. The sweating, the shaking, the tell me about your biggest weakness questions, the whole thing.
Oh man, job interviews. Just hearing the word makes my heart beat a little faster. It's such a strange situation, isn't it? You're basically sitting in a room with a stranger who is judging everything about you, from your shoes to how you say hello.
I know, right? It feels like an interrogation sometimes, but it doesn't have to be that way. I remember my very first interview for a retail job when I was 18. I was so nervous that I accidentally called the manager Dad.
No way. Mike, you did not. Did you really say Dad?
I wish I were joking. I was just so used to my dad asking me questions at dinner that my brain just defaulted to it. There was this long, awkward silence, and the manager just looked at me like I was from another planet. Needless to say, I didn't get that job.
That is hilarious. Oh, I feel so much better about my own disasters now. At least you didn't spill coffee on the interviewer's lap. I actually did that during an internship interview once. I was trying to be enthusiastic with my hands and splash all over his white shirt.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Did you still get the internship?
Surprisingly, yes. I think he felt so sorry for me that he didn't have the heart to say no. Plus, I spent the next 10 minutes frantically trying to clean it up with my own tissues. So maybe he saw my problem-solving skills in action?
Maybe. But see, that's the thing. Interviews are just conversations between people and things go wrong. But today, we want to help our listeners figure out how to make things go right most of the time. We want to go over the basics, share some stories, and hopefully give everyone the confidence to crush their next interview.
Exactly. And for our listeners at Nightly English Mics, this is a great way to pick up some natural phrases because the language used in interviews is a bit specific. It's professional, but it's still conversational. So Mike, where should we start? Should we talk about the preparation?
Definitely. You can't just show up and hope for the best. You have to put in the work before you even leave your house. For me, the first thing is always looking up the company. If you don't know what they do, you're basically walking into a trap.
That's so true. I usually spend at least an hour on their website. I try to figure out their vibe. Is it a super serious corporate company or is it a cool modern startup? That usually helps me decide what to wear and how to speak.
I totally agree. And it's not just the website. I like to check their social media too. It gives you a better idea of the people who actually work there. It makes the whole thing feel more human. If you see that they had an office pizza party last week, they probably aren't going to bite your head off during the interview.
True. But speaking of looking up things, that's a good phrasal verb, by the way. Have you ever gone too far with the research? Like you know the interviewer's dog's name because you found their personal Instagram?
Oh, no way. That's a bit creepy, Sarah. I try to stay on LinkedIn. If you bring up their dog, they might call security. But it is good to know their professional background. Maybe they went to the same university as you, or they worked at a company you admire. It gives you something to bring up if the conversation gets a bit dry.
Bring up, another great phrasal verb, to mention something. I think that's key. You want to show that you've done your homework. But what about the outfit? I feel like this is where people get really stressed out. Do you go full suit and tie, or is that too much nowadays?
It's such a struggle. I think the rule of thumb is to dress slightly better than the people who work there. If the office is casual, I'll wear a nice shirt and trousers. If it's formal, then yes, the suit comes out. But I have to make sure it actually fits me. I have one suit that I bought 3 years ago, and let's just say I've eaten a lot of pizza since then. It's a bit tight.
I know the feeling. I have a lucky blazer that I wear to every interview. It's a bit old-fashioned, but I feel like it gives me powers. Does that sound crazy?
Not at all. Most people have some kind of good luck ritual. My friend actually wears mismatched socks to every interview because he thinks it keeps him humble. Whatever works, right?
I guess so. So, okay, you've done your research, you've picked your outfit, and you've figured out how to get to the office, or you've checked your internet connection if it's on Zoom. Now comes the hard part, the actual talking.
The part where everyone's throat gets dry and they forget how to use words.
Exactly. And the most common way they start is with that famous, dreaded question. So, tell me about yourself. It sounds so simple, but it's actually a trap, isn't it?
It really is, because if you start talking about your love for 90s cartoons and your collection of vintage spoons, you've already lost them. You have to keep it relevant to the job. I usually try to follow a past, present, and future model.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, I start with what I've done, the past, what I'm doing now, the present, and what I want to do next, the future. It keeps the answer organized so I don't just ramble on for 10 minutes. People hate rambling.
I know, right? I am a professional rambler, so I have to be really careful. I usually write down my answer to that question and practice it in front of the mirror. It feels silly, but it helps the words come out more naturally when I'm actually in the seat.
I do the same thing. I record myself on my phone and then listen back to it. It's painful, I hate the sound of my own voice, but it helps me realize if I'm saying or like too many times.
That's a great tip. We all have those filler words that we use when we're nervous. My biggest one is basically. I'll say, so basically, I basically worked at this basically cool company. It's terrible.
We've all been there. But you know, another thing that really helps with the tell me about yourself question is having a few success stories ready to go. You shouldn't just list your skills, you should show them in action.
Oh, definitely. Like, instead of saying, I'm good at teamwork, you should tell a story about a time your team was in trouble and how you helped figure out a solution.
Exactly. Figure out, another one for the list. It means to solve a problem or understand something. If you can show them how you figured out a difficult situation, it's much more impressive than just a line on a resume.
I agree. But what about the scary questions? You know the ones. Why did you leave your last job? Or what is your greatest weakness? Those are the ones that make people want to run out of the room.
The weakness question is the worst. I used to say I'm a perfectionist, but I think every interviewer in the world is tired of hearing that. It sounds a bit fake, doesn't it?
It totally does. It's like saying, my only problem is that I'm too amazing at my job. No one believes that. I think it's much better to be honest, but in a smart way. I usually pick something that is a real weakness, but isn't a deal breaker for the job. That's a good point, and you have to show that you're working on it. Like if you struggle with organizing your tasks, you can say, I used to be a bit disorganized, but now I use this specific app to manage my schedule, and it's been a game changer. Exactly. It shows that you're self-aware and that you take initiative. I once told an interviewer that my weakness was public speaking. I told them I was taking a class to get better at it, and they actually seemed really impressed that I was trying to improve myself.
That's a great example. It shows you don't just give up when something is hard.
Right. And what about the why do you want to work here question? Because let's be honest, for a lot of people, the real answer is because I need money to pay my rent. But you can't say that, can you?
Definitely not, even if it's true. You have to find something about the company that actually excites you. Maybe it's their mission or their products, or even just the fact that they have a great reputation in the industry. You have to sell yourself, but you also have to show that you're buying what they are selling.
Sell yourself. That's a classic idiom. It means to promote your skills and convince someone you're the right person. It's a bit of a weird concept, though, isn't it? It feels like you're a product on a shelf.
It does feel a bit like that, but in a way you are. You're offering a service and they are the customer. You just have to make sure they know why you're the best product for their specific needs.
That's a good way to look at it. Now, Mike, I want to talk about something that's become really common lately. Online interviews. Zoom, Teams, Google Meet. It's a whole different ballgame than being there in person.
Oh, tell me about it. I actually prefer in-person interviews. Online ones feel so much more awkward. There's always that 1-second delay where you both start talking at the same time and then you both stop and then you both say, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead. No, after you. It's like a digital dance. And don't even get me started on technical issues. My internet once cut out right as I was about to answer a really important question. I had to call them back on my phone, sweating and panicking.
Oh, really? No way. Did they understand?
They were actually very nice about it. They said it happened to them all the time. I think that's the thing. Everyone is human. But you should definitely try to go over everything before the call starts. Check your mic, check your camera, and for heaven's sakes, make sure your background is clean.
Yes, no one wants to see your pile of dirty laundry in the corner of the room. I usually just find a plain wall or use one of those blur filters. It's much safer. And also, you have to remember to look at the camera, not the screen. It feels weird, but it makes it look like you're making eye contact with the other person.
That is such a hard habit to break. I always want to look at the person's face on the screen, but then I look like I'm staring at their chest or something. It's very strange.
I know, it takes some practice. But you know what else is hard? Reading the vibe of the room through a computer screen. In person, you can feel the energy. Online, it's just a bunch of boxes.
It is. That's why I think you have to be a little more animated online. Use more hand gestures, smile a bit more, and really listen to what they are saying. You have to work a little harder to build a connection.
I totally agree. And speaking of connections, what about the small talk at the beginning? You know, when you're walking from the reception to the meeting room, or while you're waiting for everyone to join the call. Does that actually matter?
I think it matters a lot. It's your chance to show your personality before the official questions start. If you're friendly and easy to talk to, it makes the interviewer feel more relaxed, which makes the whole interview go more smoothly.
I've always found that asking a simple question like, "How has your week been so far?" can really help. It shows that you're interested in them as a person, not just as a boss.
Exactly. It breaks the ice. But you have to be careful not to get too personal. You don't want to start complaining about your car breaking down or your neighbor's loud music. Keep it light and positive.
Good point. Keep it light. Stay away from heavy or negative topics. Now, let's talk about the end of the interview. This is the part that a lot of people mess up. They think once the questions are over, they can just leave. But then the interviewer says, "Do you have any questions for us?"
And if you say no, it looks like you're not interested. I've seen so many people make that mistake. You should always have at least 2 or 3 questions ready.
What are your go-to questions, Sarah?
I always like to ask about the team. What does a typical day look like for the person in this role? Or how does the team collaborate on projects? It shows that I'm already thinking about how I would fit in.
Those are great. I also like to ask about growth, something like, what are the opportunities for professional development within the company? It shows that you're looking to stay for a long time and that you want to get better at what you do.
That's a really strong one. It makes you look ambitious and committed. I also once asked an interviewer, "What is your favorite thing about working here?" And she actually had to stop and think for a minute. It was a great way to see if people are actually happy at the company.
That's a bold move. I like it. It's like you're interviewing them too. And honestly, you should be. You need to know if you're going to be happy there. It's a two-way street.
A two-way street. I love that idiom. It means both sides are equal and have a role to play. An interview isn't just them choosing you, it's you choosing them. If the interviewer is rude or the office feels miserable, it's okay to decide that the job isn't for you.
I totally agree. I once walked into an interview where the manager didn't even look up from his phone the whole time. I realized right then and there that I didn't want to work for someone who didn't respect my time. I still finished the interview, of course, but I knew I wouldn't take the job if they offered it.
Good for you. It's important to have those boundaries. But okay, let's say the interview went well. You're back home, you've taken off your uncomfortable shoes, and you're waiting. What's the next step?
The follow-up. You can't just sit there and bite your nails for a week. I always send a short thank you email within 24 hours. Just something simple, thanking them for their time and mentioning one specific thing you enjoyed talking about.
Does that actually work though, or does it just seem like you're trying too hard?
Honestly, I think it works. It keeps your name fresh in their mind, and it shows that you have good manners. In a world where everyone is so busy, a little bit of politeness goes a long way.
That's true. I've heard from some recruiters that a thank you note can sometimes be the thing that decides between 2 equal candidates. If one person sent a note and the other didn't, they'll go with the one who showed that extra bit of effort.
Exactly. It's all about the extra mile. But what happens if you get a no? We have to talk about rejection because it's a big part of the job hunt.
Ugh, rejection. It's so hard not to take it personally, isn't it? You feel like they're saying, "We don't like you," even though they're just saying this specific role isn't the right fit.
It's tough, for sure. I've had more no's than yeses in my life, that's for sure. But I've learned to treat every rejection as a learning experience. If I can, I always ask for feedback. Sometimes they don't respond, but when they do, it's incredibly helpful.
What kind of feedback have you received?
Well, once I was told that I sounded a bit too rehearsed, like I was reading from a script. That was a big wake-up call for me. I realized I was trying so hard to be perfect that I forgot to be myself. After that, I started focusing more on having a natural conversation rather than just giving perfect answers.
That's such good advice. It's the nightly English mix way. Keep it natural. I think people can sense when you're being authentic. They want to hire a human being, not a robot.
Exactly. And sometimes you just have to brush it off and move on. Brush off, another phrasal verb. It means to ignore something or not let it affect you. There are so many jobs out there, and the right one will come along eventually.
The right one will come along. I like that. It's all about staying positive. But I think it's also okay to be a little sad for a day. Eat some ice cream, watch a movie, and then get back to work the next morning.
The ice cream and movie strategy, I highly recommend it. But don't let it go on for too long. You don't want to fall behind on your job search.
Right. Consistency is key. You have to keep applying, keep practicing, and keep improving. And even if you don't get the job, the fact that you got an interview is already a huge win. It means your CV is working and people are interested in you.
That's a great way to look at it. It's a step-by-step process. Every interview you do makes you better at the next one. You learn how to handle the nerves, how to answer the questions, and how to carry yourself with confidence.
Carry yourself, to behave in a certain way. I love that. Confidence is so important. Even if you don't feel confident, you can act confident until you eventually start believing it. Fake it till you make it, right?
Exactly. Just don't fake your skills. If they ask if you can speak fluent Mandarin and you say yes when you only know how to say hello, you're going to have a very bad time on your first day.
Oh my gosh, imagine the stress. So Mike, please translate this 10-page legal document into Mandarin. Ni hao?
Yeah, that would be a disaster. So stay honest, but stay confident. Well, Sarah, I feel like we've covered so much ground today. We've gone from dad blunders to Zoom etiquette and handling rejection.
We really have. I feel like I've learned a lot just talking to you. It's funny how talking about these things makes them feel a lot less scary.
It really does. I hope our listeners feel the same way. Job interviews are tough, but they are also an opportunity to start a new chapter in your life. It's an adventure.
An adventure with a lot of paperwork, but an adventure nonetheless. Before we wrap up, do you have any final pro tips for our listeners who might have an interview coming up this week?
Let me think. Oh, here's a good one. Arrive early, but don't go in too early. If you show up 20 minutes early, it can actually make the interviewer feel rushed. I usually get to the area 20 minutes before, but I stay in a nearby coffee shop or sit in my car until about 5 or 10 minutes before the scheduled time.
That's a really smart tip. It gives you time to calm your nerves and check your hair, but you aren't hovering in the lobby like a ghost.
Exactly. And my other tip would be to bring a notebook and a pen. Even if you don't write anything down, it makes you look prepared and professional. Plus, you can use it to write down any questions that come to your mind during the interview.
Oh, I always do that. It also gives me something to do with my hands so I don't start fidgeting or playing with my hair.
Fidgeting is a silent killer. It's such a clear sign of nerves. Having a pen to hold, just don't click it repeatedly, can really help you stay grounded.
Stay grounded, to remain calm and sensible. We're really hitting all the good phrases today. My final tip would be to remember to breathe. It sounds silly, but when we're nervous, we tend to take very shallow breaths, which makes us feel even more anxious. A few deep breaths before you walk into the room can work wonders.
I second that. Breathing is generally a good idea for life, but especially for interviews.
Very true. Well, Mike, this has been such a pleasure. I think we should do more episodes like this. Maybe one on writing the perfect CV or how to negotiate your salary.
Oh, I would love to talk about salary negotiation. That's a whole different level of stress. Let's definitely put that on the list.
It's a deal. Well, to everyone listening at Nightly English Mix, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We know that learning English and navigating the job market can be a lot of work, but we are so proud of you for sticking with it.
Absolutely. You guys are doing great. Don't forget to practice some of the phrasal verbs and idioms we used today. Try using them in your next conversation, or even write them down in your journal.
And if you have any interview stories of your own, good, bad, or just plain weird, we would love to hear them. Feel free to share them with us.
Yes, please. I need to know if anyone else has called their boss dad. It would make me feel a lot better about my life choices.
I'm sure someone has. Well, that's it for today's episode. We'll be back soon with more conversations, more English tips, and probably more of Mike's embarrassing stories.
Hey, I resemble that remark. But seriously, thanks for listening, everyone. Stay positive, keep practicing, and remember, you've got this.
You really do. Good luck with those interviews, everyone. We're rooting for you.
See you next time.
Bye for now.